If you're under 40, you cannot possibly comprehend how important Monday Night Football was to us. There have been so many moments through the years of Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football was the main event. It wasn't the afterthought. Somewhere along the way, Sunday Night Football superseded Monday night in the public consciousness, but it's a tough act to follow. It's because our culture wasn't so fractured. Now there are so many programs. There are so many shows. We are right at the end of week 1 of the NFL season right now. Hard to believe. My Bears in action tonight against Gary Schreier's Vikings. And what better time to reflect upon the greatest Monday Night Football tweets in the history of Super 70 sports. We're celebrating Monday Night Football today on the program. And we'll begin with some Sunday Night Football. Last night, one of the most exciting games that you could possibly ask for to start off an NFL season or at any point during an NFL season. The Buffalo Bills become only the 4th team since 2000 to win after trailing by 15 points or more in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, ending the game with Matt Prater's field goal as the clock ticked out. It was a buzzer beater game-winning field goal. I can't remember the last time that I've seen one. I was worried that they weren't going to get it off in time, and they only had 2 or 3 seconds to spare. They had to get everything right, so credit on that unit. And Matt Prater, in his Buffalo Bills debut, age 41, I believe Matt Prater is. I tweeted out that he looks like he's about to pass some important legislation after the game. He's like, it was a team effort. I just want to thank everybody for helping us get set up there. It was a good snap. All I had to do was execute, and I'm going to be calling Rand Paul momentarily to see what can be done in this country. We're co-sponsoring a bill. The bill looks like he would be sponsoring bills there. And I'm a good one to talk. I'm almost 15 years older than Matt. But any game that ends with a kicker hoisted upon the shoulders of his teammates, my friends, is a great football moment. There's no question about it. Wasn't a great game if you were a Ravens fan, let's be honest. But otherwise, that was a hell of a game. And yeah, I did win a little bit of money on it, so it doesn't bother me. Josh Allen's my favorite player. Josh Allen on NBC after the game said, our team doesn't quit. There's people that left the stadium, and that's okay. We'll be fine, but have some faith next time. Josh Allen to the Bills Mafia. Have a little faith. Where's your belief? 15 points is a 2-possession game. Your house will still be there an hour later, and look what you missed. It's like leaving. Don't be the guy who leaves the concert before the encore. That's what I have to say. This is the Ravens' first loss in the history of their franchise in which they scored 40 points. They were previously 25-0 when they hit that threshold until last night. And Matt Prater, just a little bit about this guy, 19th year in the league. He used to hold the record for the longest field goal. He is the guy who broke Tom Dempsey's record that stood for over 30 years back when he was a Denver Bronco, taking advantage of that mile-high air. Matt Prater, the number 15 all-time scorer in the history of the NFL, and number 13 on the all-time field goals list. And I got a feeling that he might not have any, including the 64-yarder, that were more meaningful or memorable than the one that he kicked last night. And we got a Monday night game too, as I said here. Let's not forget about that. The week's not over yet. We got the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings, but it's a tough act to follow, what we saw last night on Sunday Night Football. So J.J. McCarthy and Caleb Williams, you know where Lamar and Josh Allen set the bar last night. Let's see if you can come anywhere near it. I remember when Monday Night Football was the main event. It wasn't the afterthought. Somewhere along the way, Sunday Night Football superseded Monday night in the public consciousness. I suppose it was John Madden and Al Michaels who did that. And then ESPN He got moved over there, and they kicked the hell out of it for years. I mean, who were their announcers there for a long time? Jason Witten. Remember the Jason Witten era? Booger McFarland. All of those guys. If you're under 40, you cannot possibly comprehend how important Monday Night Football was to us in the 70s and the 80s. And even into the 90s, I would argue. But especially the 70s and the 80s. It debuted in 1970. But look at that. And by the way, a lot of people don't know this. History made today in 1989, as we get into the Ricky Cobb Show time machine, Hank Williams Jr. felt compelled to choke out two guys simply because they weren't ready for some football. Ronnie, that seems, I'm going to call it firm but fair. He said, "Are you ready for some football?" And they said no. And he said, "Counterpoint, I am now choking you." And they deserved it, as far as I'm concerned. But that was a little bit later on. When did Hank start doing that? Early 90s, late 80s? 89 is when I said it was. So he must have started in the late 80s with that theme song. And I go back, however, to the GOATs. When you talk about Monday Night Football, you're talking about Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford, and Dandy Don Meredith. And you knew that the game was over when Don Meredith sang, "Turn out the lights, the party's over." The only crew that matters, my friends, the only crew that matters. The first year of Monday Night Football, a lot of people don't remember this. Ron, I think you might. Do you remember the very famous individual that was in the booth for the very first season of Monday Night Football?
You're going to have to remind me. I was only 4.
Okay, well, at least this is one thing that I'm going to have to remind you, and the reason isn't that you were fucking co-eds, Ron. It was Nellie Keith Jackson.
Oh,
it's Monday Night Football, everybody. Yeah, 1 year Keith did it, and then he moved on, and the Dream Team united there. But there have been so many moments through the years of Monday Night Football that were iconic. Back in the days when we didn't have so many damn channels. You know, one of the reasons that Super 70 Sports resonates, I am convinced, is because our culture wasn't so fractured. Now there are so many programs. There are so many shows. You don't even know what platform things are on half the time. We've been talking about it on this show. You go to watch an NFL game and you're like, well, where the fuck is this? Is it on Peacock? Is it on Netflix? Is it on a regular network? Is it on ESPN? Where the fuck is it? Okay, well, back in the day, you knew where it was. It was on ABC. And you didn't have very many other channels. Back in the 70s, maybe you had 3 or 4 other options. What were you going to watch? And so there were a lot of shared experiences. Even in the 90s. You remember this sweet bastard? This happened right here in Chicago at Soldier Field. You remember the motherfucker who timed his leap and jumped and caught a fucking extra point, Ron?
Yeah, he didn't even get. Yeah, he didn't. You would have thought he didn't even like break anything, right? Like he was fine.
No, he was like a drunk person in a car accident. You know how like there'll be some massive car accident. Yeah, it's like a crumpled piece of tin, and you're like, how could anybody have lived? Well, his blood alcohol was 0.35, and therefore he's fine. I think this guy benefited from the same medical exception to drunkenness, because that was like a 30-foot fall, Ron.
Yeah.
That this guy took. He held on.
He timed it perfectly.
Bears should have signed that motherfucker. He was the 3rd most valuable member of the 1995 Chicago Bears just for making that play. Now, speaking of the Chicago Bears, yeah, I'll be watching tonight. But I'll be watching from my living room. I kind of wish that I was watching from the television that I want to install in the back of this van that I found on Facebook Marketplace, Ron.
Wait, that's only 4,800? Dude,
Ron,
let's buy it.
That's what I was thinking. It was about 1 a.m. I was high as a kite, and I was on Facebook Marketplace, not looking for a custom Chicago Bears van, but, you know, poking around for baseball cards or whatever. And then I saw it. And it was like in Wayne's World, every time that Wayne would look at Tia Carrere or whatever, and they would play Dreamweaver. That's how I felt. Look at that fucking thing. That's got to be worth $4,777. Doesn't it, Ron?
Easily. I mean, just to say it's yours is worth that much.
Right? Just to park it in your driveway and watch it decay over the next decade.
Yep.
Is probably worth $5,000 in satisfaction. Make it a shaggin' wagon, you know?
Yep.
Get Leslie in the back of that van.
Put the bumper sticker on there. Don't come a knocking.
Don't bother knocking. Yeah, I don't know.
Ass, gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free.
Yeah. Oh, they've got to throw that bumper sticker in for free to sweeten the deal because it needs it. But Ron, going back to the 70s era, I cut my teeth on Howard Cosell, Frank Gifford, and Don Meredith. And, unless you're of a certain age, you don't realize how much their fame went beyond football and just into the public consciousness. My mother could definitely tell you a lot of things about Howard Cosell, Don Meredith, and Frank Gifford, and she wasn't even that big of a sports fan. But look at this. This would be a major upgrade on ESPN's Monday Night Football broadcast team. And yes, I'm aware they're dead. Now, in fairness to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who I think are a great broadcasting duo, I really do. I like Buck and Aikman on football. I wrote that tweet during the lean years of ESPN before they finally figured out we got to stop fucking around with Jason Witten and Booger McFarlane and whoever we're throwing out there as the prestige of Monday Night Football went.
How about
down
when they had Dennis Miller and Rush Limbaugh?
Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, it was a fall from grace for Monday Night Football, and they finally did the right thing and brought in primetime players in Buck and Aikman. But they're trying to rebuild a once proud legacy now. I think Sunday Night Football is still the one today that people look forward to more. But Monday Night Football in our era was everything. And those guys got advertising deals and everything else. Look at this Don Meredith iced tea ad right here. Don Meredith. You've heard of the Arnold Palmer. Yeah, you've heard of the Arnold Palmer. It's 50% iced tea and 50% lemonade. Meet the Don Meredith. It's 95% bourbon and 5% Lipton. There it is. That little bit, just a splash of Lipton.
Just splash.
So it hits right. Just a little splash of Lipton. Yeah. And then Howard Cosell, he was, I'm not even going to, look, Stephen A. Smith is good at what he does, but Stephen A. Smith is a Timu version of Howard Cosell at best. And I say that as somebody that doesn't even hate Stephen A. But take a look at this. Was he pompous? Yes. Did he piss people off? Yes. Was he awesome? Hell yes, he was. Hell yes, he was. He made the Battle of the Network Stars feel like the fucking Super Bowl. You think that shit was easy? No. He gave any event he was covering extra gravitas. Was he full of himself? Of course he was. But if you're good and you know you're good, I can't fault a man for that. Prize Picks, my friends, is fun and it is simple to play. All your favorite players are here and you got to take advantage of the max discounts, my friends. And I won this week. I'm up a little bit of money, Ronnie T-shirts, because
so am I.
This week I took Dak Prescott, who was a max discount.
Yep,
His
same.
more or less was just 0.5 yards. So, hey, Mama Cobb didn't raise any super dummies. I might be a regular dummy, but I know a deal when I see one. I grabbed that. Cameron Dicker kicked 2 field goals. Dicker, the kicker, came through for me for the Chargers, and I won 3 times my money this week. Dak Prescott 188 yards passing and Cameron Dicker with 2 field goals. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. I'm already up. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in 60 seconds. I made mine very fast. And turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of other users and sign up today. Download the app today and you will use code Ricky to get a great deal. $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Ricky and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I like to be right. Aaron Rodgers is feeling right after what happened yesterday in the Meadowlands, getting a little measure of revenge on the team that he was with for the past 2 seasons, and it didn't end on great terms. What is it that the other bartender says in, what's the fucking Cruise movie where he's a bartender? Cocktail. If it didn't end badly, it wouldn't end. I'm paraphrasing. It ended badly in New York. They made Aaron Rodgers, according to him, fly all the way across the country just to tell him that his services were no longer required. And like Michael Jordan, it seems Aaron Rodgers took that personally. And so, wouldn't you know, he signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and who's on the schedule week 1? The New York Jets, and the Steelers take them down 34-32. Let's listen.
You spoke about the meeting with Aaron Glenn on McAfee a few months ago. Beating him, is there significance in that, since he basically told you to your face that he didn't think you were right for that team?
Yes, that's what he did.
So there's significance in beating him for you?
I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets.
Happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets, even the fucking towel boy. Fuck you too, kid. Whoever you are. The Steelers winning 34-32. Aaron Rodgers with 4 touchdown passes in his Pittsburgh debut. Mike Tomlin had to be liking what he was seeing. And Ronnie, let me bring you in now. The international streaming star officially joins the program from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-shirts. Ronnie, the Jets got a good performance out of Justin Fields. I will start by saying credit where it's due. Justin Fields looked very good. The loss ain't on him.
Nope.
They put up 32 points. He had a couple of touchdowns on the ground.
I texted everybody.
He was
efficient. He looked like a professional quarterback. I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah.
And that's all we can say right now. He looked like a professional quarterback.
So good start for Aaron Rodgers out there. There's no doubt about it. But we're talking about Monday Night Football today, Ron. And
dude, I'm so excited.
Not so much the Vikings Bears, but yeah, the history of it. And for people who are just catching on, if you're a viewer of the program, we are now theming each episode of the program. There's going to be a river that runs through every episode that will go back and examine some of the greatest Super 70s sports moments in discussing and having conversations and comedy about that thing. And Monday Night Football is less funny more than I feel reverence for it, Ron, because it was such a huge deal here. Take a look at this. Even serious, tragic news. Monday Night Football was how we got it sometime. I remember certainly finding out that John Lennon had been shot outside the Dakota apartment building in Manhattan by Central Park when Howard Cosell said that he was shot, transported to Roosevelt Hospital, I think it was, dead on arrival. And, I was 9 years old, but I knew who John Lennon was. I was already a Beatles fan at that point. And there's John Smith of the Patriots setting up to kick a field goal. And I tweeted this out last year when I said today in 1980. It was December 8th, 1980. I always mark the occasion, partly because I'm a Beatles fan and partly because it intersects with the DNA of Super 70 sports, how America found out about it, Ron. But I want to get into a little different subject with you right now, and a subject that I think is very much in your wheelhouse, Ron, because since we last had a program on Friday, Philly's Karen has become one of the most hated people in America.
As she should be.
You know the scene in Anchorman where Ron Burgundy says that escalated quickly when he's talking about the street fight between all of the different broadcasting teams? It escalated quickly for Philly's Karen. Let's take a look at what happened, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on this, Ronnie.
Is
that Elizabeth Warren?
So if you're one of the 8 people in America who still hasn't seen this footage, Harrison Bader of the Philadelphia Phillies hit a home run. And as happens, people scramble around for the ball, right? Every home run in the history of humanity that somebody didn't catch on the fly, there's a little bit of a scrum for it. Everybody understands. Whoever comes away with it, comes away with it. We had the controversy last year over the Shohei Ohtani ball, where there was an argument. Somebody said that they got it torn out of their hands or whatever. Well, it was that kid's birthday, for starters, little boy, and he's at the game with his dad, and dad runs over and dad grabbed the ball. And if you go back and you see that angle of it, he just beat her to the ball. We used to play a game in PE back in the 1980s called Who Wants It? The coach would put a basketball at midcourt. 2 kids would start from under each basket, and they would just run to the middle of the court and dive, and whoever came away with the ball came away with it.
That sounds super safe.
It's like a fucking fumble. I know. God loved the 70s and 80s, right? I mean, never occurred to anybody that could be a lawsuit waiting to happen. Nobody cared. Protocol. You went home and bitched about it. Your dad would just tell you, well, get to the ball and be more aggressive next time. Stop being a pussy. Yep. Well, somebody needs to tell Philly's Karen to stop being a pussy, because instead of taking it like a grown adult who almost got a ball but didn't, she ran over and demanded that the dad turn over the ball to her because she deserved it, because she was triggered and felt that she was more important than anybody else in the ballpark. I tweeted out, I said, I heard that she's a school administrator. I don't know if that's true or not, by the way, Ron. There's a lot of false information about this woman circulating around, that she's lost her job, that they're posting profiles online that aren't
Some
even
woman
her,
came out and said, that's not me. I'm not the one that was there. So there's a lot of
Can you imagine that? That's not only irresponsible, it's potentially dangerous in this day and age. Yep. But I tweeted out, I heard she's a school administrator, and I don't know if it's true or not, but as a 21-year college professor, veteran of the classroom, Ron, I can assure you that is entirely believable. That was a school administrator move. That was a community college school administrator move right there. That's the kind of energy that has people complaining to me about my Twitter account instead of thanking me for bringing some positive publicity to their college, Ron, is what I think. By the way, Ronnie, I want to backtrack here a little bit. Let's take a look at what Monday Night Football used to look like here. Tim, I skipped an element. I want to go back to it for a second and touch on this real quickly, if we have it. I think it's 25, perhaps. If not, we're good. Yeah, take a look at that, Ron. I would pay a pretty penny just for those pennants. Just look at that. And the Blazers.
Century
you knew
21
the game
agents.
meant something when they showed up in the Century 21 Blazers. They all look like they won whatever the tournament was that Shooter McGavin won. What is it? The gold jacket.
Yep.
They all won it. But look at those, man. Oh, so fucking good. All right. Well, Ron, back in the day, we can talk about Monday football a little bit more later. But Ron, we got to do something right now that I'm itching to do. It's the start of the week in many ways. It's almost the moment where rubber meets the road on this program on a Monday. It's time for America's Poll of the Day, and let's go to it now at Super 70 Sports on X, where the Eagle flies high and then sails over you like a Matt Prater last-second field goal that splits the uprights and brings joy to Buffalo. I got a little too excited there, Ron. I need to catch my breath. Here's what we've got for you on this Monday. Tim, you're going to love me. Look at me theming it, holding it together. Game-winning field goals. And there may be a recency bias here that is going to be helpful for that one. But David Lee Roth is going to be a strong competitor. I always side with David Lee Roth on every Van Halen, Sammy Hagar debate. Third, we've got Duncan. It used to be Dunkin' Donuts, but then they just want us to pretend now that it wasn't all about the donuts. They're just Dunkin'. And lastly, Hot Wheels tracks. Those tracks that we would get and we would whip our friends and our siblings. I didn't have any siblings, but I definitely would have whipped that motherfucker with a Hot Wheels track if I had one. Ron, break it down for me as only you can.
All right, I'm going out of order today. Had you put donuts instead of Dunkin', I probably would have voted for that. But Dunkin' they're fine. But I prefer the mom and pop donut place that every town, city, burg, hamlet they have, and they're always significantly better. Hot Wheel tracks, absolutely. I mean, I had them. I remember, used to have just tons of them. You put them together and it was great because you get to build different, every time you did it, you get to build different tracks. So I loved Hot Wheels, loved the loop-to-loop part, when you could get your car to do the loop-to-loop. Damn well I don't like David Lee Roth because I don't like Van Halen. But that being said, have you seen the videos out there of him lately singing?
Oh, it's so bad, dude.
Dude, it's
so bad.
Awful. It's so bad.
I don't know if he's going through something and just didn't want to cancel the shows or if this is just all he has left. But it's kind of hard to watch. I have a lot that are showing up in my reels.
Really hard to watch.
He was in Northern Indiana on my birthday, and
Okay.
I had toyed with the idea of going and seeing him. Thinking about it, and then I saw some of these. I saw some of these videos circulating, and I decided that maybe not.
No, man, it's bad. Game-winning field goals. I mean, it's like anything else, right? It's like a game-winning home run. It's like a three-pointer to win a game. I mean, they are fantastic. Did you see the Chris Boswell kick yesterday? He kicked it 60 yards against the Jets. I think could have been 70. It was a bomb. It wasn't quite game winning, but
it's a different era we live in now.
Oh gosh,
60-yard field goals are like they're like 48-yard field goals used to be.
Unless you're the kicker for the Browns who missed an extra point and a 36-yard field goal. I'm gonna go game-winning field goals on this, Ricky.
All right, let's bring in Timmy real quick here and see what he has to say. Tim, you've heard Ron's analysis. How do you stack these Monday contenders?
I'm just a gigolo everywhere I go. People like to sound and say gigolo, gigolo, gigolo. I don't know, man. Give me a glazed donut to go. Hard not to vote for him, but I didn't. If it were like I don't know, field goals just are hard to celebrate. Forgive my voice. I'm definitely on the other side of gigolo, gigolo, gigolo. Really good one, Ricky. Excellent one. Hot Wheels tracks for sure. The little machine with the rubber inside, crank it up. I think it's one of the strongest polls. I could see having all four in the tit. But I'm going to not opt for game-winning field goals. I appreciate the recency and the tie-in. I guess your tweet maybe sold me almost. You're right if a kicker's on their shoulders, but I need a little more action. I don't love field goals as much as you guys. So long-winded way of saying I'm going those orange tracks, the sword, the saber, Hot Wheels. It is for me.
All right, game-winning field goals are great unless they cost you money or unless they beat the team that you're rooting for, right? So game-winning field goals tend to be sort of a 50-50 proposition in terms of who they make happy. David Lee Roth, look, he seems to be a crazy person, but you can't deny the work that he did with Van Halen, man. I mean, the guy wrote the lyrics for fucking Panama and so many other great songs. Sammy Hagar seems like he's a little more together as a guy. I might rather sit down and have a beer with Sammy Hagar, but I would rather listen to the David Lee Roth era of Van Halen. Duncan, I'm not a coffee drinker, so
Yeah, me
I
either.
order Duncan very rarely. Hot Wheels tracks were fun when I was a kid, but again, I've got daughters. None of them ever wanted Hot Wheels, so I never even had Hot Wheels tracks in the house when they were growing up. So for me, it comes down to Field Goals and David Lee Roth and Gigolo, Gigolo, Gigolo. He didn't have any body, Tim. Remember that? I ain't got nobody. He also taught me the true meaning of how the Midwest farmer's daughter could really make you feel all right.
Phenomenal. That's one of your best
California
tweets.
Girls.
Yeah.
I'm voting for David Lee Roth. By God, let's light this candle. The anticipation always thick in the air on a Monday here on the program is. And
Not
look
much
at
of a
that.
competition.
Recency bias. That's a recency bias. You can't tell me that game-winning field goals are 2.5 times better than David Lee Roth. I don't want to hear that. And Duncan just getting dunked on here. Below the Mendoza line currently, gentlemen. And Hot Wheels tracks coming in second. So looks like we're going to see game-winning field goals again on Friday. So Matt Prater putting another one on his back here. And, oh, my God, here you go. This is
why I came
best
today,
thing
Ricky.
about Monday
This is
Night
why I came to
Football.
the show today.
Bro, this was the best thing about it. You got to understand, we didn't have NFL prime time. We didn't have
X.
all kinds of recap options. We didn't have an NFL network. We didn't have social media. We had Howard Cosell for what, about 5 minutes at
If we were
halftime,
lucky. Yep.
recounting the highlights, reading them with so much drama. And for so many of us, that was also the last thing that we did before we had to go brush our teeth and go to bed.
Yep.
And that was the deal that I had with my mom.
First half.
You know,
I was
you could
first
stay
half.
up until halftime. Yeah, I was a first half kid, and then I got to see the highlights where he would be right there, Kenny Stabler, and you would see what happened in the Raiders game the day before. And those would be
Chills,
the only
man.
highlights that you would get,
Chills.
man. You would get maybe 30 seconds of a game. Sometimes you get less than that. Sometimes it would just be one play,
Yep.
and he would move on to the next game. So it was precious, and you cannot possibly begin to understand it in an era where we're just saturated. Fortunately so, we're saturated with everything that we could possibly want to see. But in our era, man, it was appointment television.
Who was your favorite NFL team when you were a kid?
Cowboys.
Okay, so now my parents did. I did get the special. I could stay up for the whole game if it was the Bills who were on Monday Night Football. Other than that, it was 100% highlights.
I didn't even get that. I'm
yeah.
going to have to talk to her.
But
I
what
may
you
get
just
up in
said,
her face like Philly's Karen and just say, how could you have done that to me, mother?
you traumatized me.
Yeah.
What you just said though
Okay.
about having so much stuff.
I'm going to have to reflect on it.
I literally, before I even knew you had decided to theme the show this way, Saturday night, I was hanging out with my friends, Todd and Luke, and we were literally talking about how oversaturated everything is now. And then it kind of led us to the conversation of Monday Night Football. And I mean, we were singing the song or dun-dun, 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 and we were having the same conversation and literally had the conversation Saturday night that we're having right now about Monday Night Football. It was the greatest thing, and it was because of highlights. You get the first half, and then you had to go to bed. Because I mean, Ricky, were you Eastern time zone in Kentucky where you grew up, or were you Central? Okay, I was Eastern.
Yeah, Central.
I was Eastern. So were my friends, dude. It started at 9:00. It was late. It was so late
See,
to be
my
having to
mom
get up
could
to
have
go to
given
school.
me maybe the third quarter. All right, we are going to go to a break now. But before we do, my friends, this is your last chance to sign up for the big Outkick sweepstakes. Alabama and Georgia. Who wouldn't want to go and have the ultimate fan experience in Athens, Georgia? head on over to outkick.com/sweepstakes and make sure that you get entered to give yourself a chance to be the recipient of such a blessed occasion, courtesy of Outkick. And with that being said, we're going to go to a break now. When we come back, I'm going to be joined by Mike O'Malley and Shawn Simmons, who are here to discuss the new hit streaming movie. A lot of people talking about this one, Eenie, Meanie. And we got a lot more on tap for you as well. It will all happen straight ahead, right after this, right here on The Ricky Cobb Show.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment
This is your shot
to punch your ticket to the college football weekend of a lifetime.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
We're also hooking up 10 more fans with Outkick hats, and everyone who enters gets a discount to the Outkick shop.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
And welcome back to the program, my friends, here on this Monday. And it is a real pleasure right now to be joined by a couple of men. You may have heard of this film, Eenie, Meanie. It is streaming currently on Hulu. Very, very popular from what I understand. Highly successful with the streaming. You can see here it's a heist movie, but it's a lot more than that. Car chases, lots of good stuff. I got a feeling that if you're into Super 70s and you're into what I do, this movie is going to be right up your alley. So to discuss this and a lot more, my pleasure to welcome to the program the actor, writer, TV producer, all-around good guy, Mike O'Malley, and not only the director of Eenie, Meanie, but the man who wrote it and conceived it as well, Shawn Simmons. How you doing, fellas?
Ricky, it's great to be with you. Thank you so much for having us on here. Immediately when I was a part of this movie, I'm just one of many great actors. Well, I'll say I'm one of many actors in the movie. I won't characterize myself as a great actor.
No, you had it right.
Movie.
You had it right the first
but
time.
no, it is.
I will endorse that.
This Shawn Simmons is a guy that I met. I was a part of his show called Wayne. Wayne is a show which, if you haven't seen it, Shawn likes to describe it as John Wick meets John Hughes. It's fantastic. He wrote this movie, a big movie for 20th Century Fox, $50 million car chase movie. He asked me to be a part of it. I am, and I'm telling you, I knew the minute I saw the film, I said, I got to get on with Ricky because it is inspired by some of those 70s movies that I know that you can talk about at length. But I'm going to hand it over to Shawn for a second because Shawn is he's just done an unbelievable job with this movie. It was #1 streaming on Hulu last week, and it's just fantastic. It's Andy Garcia, it's Samara Weaving. It's yours truly.
Steve Zahn, Mike O'Malley.
Steve Zahn, yes, we love Steve Zahn.
The soul of the movie, Mike O'Malley. Yeah, man, I bring Mike O'Malley along for whatever I do. He not only is, incredibly funny, I can lean on him to do, any kind of improv, but once he partners up with somebody like he did with Andy Garcia in this movie, it was a match made in heaven. I mean, it's the couple America wanted between those two guys. Him and Andy had so much fun on set. And you kind of wish you could see more funny Andy Garcia after this movie, in my opinion, because he ends up doing something you don't really see him do much. And thanks to Mike, who, brought him along on that train.
But yeah, Ricky, when you see what's your favorite car chase, heist movies from the 70s, Ricky? Because I'm sure Shawn's seen them.
Well, my car chase, I've always been a bullet guy.
Yes.
Just so long, and not of the Fast and Furious era. I was thinking about that as I was watching the film. I mean, what's it like as a director, Shawn, to put together a car chase, and how many times do you have to go through it? For me, just as a popcorn guy who's watching this and doesn't really understand how the sausage gets made, what's it like when you put together a really good car chase scene? Because this one definitely has it.
Well, this one definitely, you're right. I'm glad you brought up the 70s stuff because my goal, because I think, as you saw, this is a little bit more grounded in truth and reality and a little gritty like the 70s movies used to be, a little bit more heartbreaking and emotional when in, a movie you probably don't expect it these days. It does harken back to that 70s stuff. And I think in order to buy all that stuff being real, I think, we thought the car chases had to be real. So, we got this guy, Paul Jennings, who made the first Jack Reacher movie. And that's one of my favorite car chases the last 10 years. Completely practical. I mean, we didn't have a maniac like Tom Cruise in the car who they would just trying to peel out of the car in that movie and try to get him out of there because he wanted to do everything himself. You can't do that with most actors. We didn't have the benefit of that. But the big thing in our movie, in a practical car chase movie, no VFX as far as, the stunts are concerned, we had to have the actors get in the car and be in the car. And that's what makes people buy into it. So Paul Jennings, who did Jack Reacher 1, came along. We got an incredible team because, unfortunately we're going through a lot, with the strike and it was post-pandemic and a lot of people were available. But to the movie's benefit, we got this dream team that we wouldn't have got before. And, we put those kids in the car and, the magic thing about that is there's some guy on the roof of the car in a little pod driving the car, and doing these insane tricks with them in the car. And Samara Weaving, she didn't even know how to drive. It turns out she lied in the interview and said she did know how to drive, but she didn't even have a license.
Wait a minute. She doesn't even have a driver's license? Wow. Well, see,
Nope.
It's called acting. It's called acting is what it's called. Gentlemen,
exactly.
I believed it.
But Shawn and Ricky, for your audience, big football fans, Marshawn Lynch is in this movie as one of the big, villains. And Shawn, talk about working with him.
Yeah, I had seen Marshawn in a movie called Bottoms, which he was really funny in. It was played a gym teacher and he made me laugh. There's a lot of humor in this movie. And that guy being the villain, putting him behind the wheel of a giant Lincoln Continental from like the late 60s, he looked like a Mad Max character. It was amazing. And then you find out how funny he is and how warm he is. And the guy just applied his unbelievable work ethic to acting in a way that I was surprised by, but that's the only way guys like that know how to do it, And by the end of it, I mean, you can't get enough of him. Every time I talk to somebody, it's one of the first things they bring up. We're lucky to have him.
Yeah, he has the it factor, doesn't he? Yeah. I've seen him before. He's just naturally, there's a charm about the guy. But yeah, this movie definitely has a 70s sort of ethos to it, right? I mean, it's gritty, it's funny, great dialogue. Really does feel like a throwback in a lot of ways. I got to ask, who was responsible? I'm going to give a hat tip here on the Billy Squire.
I thought the same thing.
The stroke.
That was me.
Okay, sir. All right. Well, then please accept your flowers for that because that was a little chef's kiss, I thought.
I had to think of a movie that, carried the spirit of that good, dumb fun that John, the character, is. And there's something about that drum beat coming in, that guitar lick, and it just felt like the kind of good, dumb fun we used to have when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s that feels a little less than that around now. You know what I mean?
I had a Billy Squire joke in the second season of Heels, which is what made me love it even more when I saw it, Shawn picked this in this movie. And I just thought back to that song where my mom just walking into the living room, MTV's on, that song's on. She's just like, what is this? Like, where, can you imagine our parents from back in the 70s coming into listening to anything that our children are listening to now? I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It felt like, it really does feel like something we don't have anymore in that way though, mindless fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a moment. Mike, tell me, what attracted you to this? You play George, and tell me how you came to be involved and what drew you to playing this character.
Well, I just again I want to say to anyone, like, there's a show out there called Wayne that was on. It started out when YouTube was making their own programming. They started to do some adult themed programming, and then they gave it away free on YouTube. And people who weren't adults, just bad words. It's not. It's it's nothing any more than that. So then it came out on Amazon. Amazon Prime put it out there, and that is Shawn's show, and it's Shawn's genius about growing up in a rough neighborhood in outside of Boston, Massachusetts, Brockton, Mass. I played the principal in that. And one of the things I loved about it was just the authenticity of the dialogue and the heart that went into it. Ricky, I think we might have talked about this the last time I was on the show. I don't think that, there's a lot of guys who know what it's like to be a good guy and a good friend and loyal and stick up for the right things and know to their core that that's what they're about. And that is what Wayne is about. Somebody who's sticking up for the right things, defending himself, and he can't be pushed around. These are the themes that I love that Shawn writes about: loyalty, what it means to be a good friend. And I'm not going to say I don't think there's enough movies and TV shows out there about that. I just know that I want to be a part of them. And so when Shawn said, do you want to even have the smallest part playing opposite Andy Garcia, where I play as henchman, I knew that there was going to be, as part of the process of making the show, just fun, just joy. And as you can see from the photo there, I'm dressed in this ridiculous sweater, that clearly somebody who's, shops at TJ Maxx or Marshall's on the rack, on the sale rack for his clothing. This is not a guy who thinks so much about his wardrobe. I just knew that it was going to be fun. And so that's what I'm looking for at this time of my life, is what's going to be a fun experience. And look, I love Andy Garcia. I mean, I've loved him. I remember his first movie that I saw him in was The Untouchables. I was blown away by it. And to think that I was going to be able to be his right-hand man in this movie, that's why I wanted to do it.
To Live and Die in L.A.
Well,
That's the one I watched the other night that I was like, Andy's in this and he's spectacular.
Wow, To Live and Die in L.A. That's one I haven't watched in a while. I need to go back and watch that. Speaking of movies that are great in this genre.
You'll also love the fact that I named the high school Hagler High, Marvin Hagler in Wayne.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. He's from my hometown.
Nice. Yeah. No kidding. How about that?
Yeah, well, he trained out of there.
Sugar Ray Leonard, by the way. You and I both know it, Shawn.
I'm not even going to smile. He totally did. Marvin Hagler won that fight, 100%.
Absolutely hosed by the judges. So
you got to let me come on when you do a boxing theme. You got to let me come on when you do a boxing thing. That's my main. God. That's my main love.
All right, absolutely. I'll be mad at you if you don't. We'll do it someday. Well, look, I mean, the success here speaks for itself. #1 streaming film. People are obviously responding to what you've done, and if it means that you're going to be able to move forward and put out more kind of throwback kind of movies that make you think and are a little bit outside the box of what we see so often nowadays, man, I'm all for it. I wish you guys all the continued success in the world with this one. As you know, we were talking about during the break, it's the Monday Night Football episode here on the program. So I want to get your guys' reflection on this because, folks of a certain age remember what it was like back when it was more than just another football game on TV. And this is one that I actually don't remember that well, fellas. These are the end credits of Monday Night Football back in the late 70s. And I tweeted here, this was basically the holy grail for every kid who had to go to bed at halftime. The policy for both Ronnie T-shirts and myself, our mothers didn't know each other, but somehow mothers all over America knew that halftime was just the time that you were supposed to get your flame retardant pajamas on and get your ass to bed. What are y'all's memories of the classic golden days of Monday Night Football?
Well, I just remember, like, first off, the Patriots were never on it. And so, you had a tweet that you did about Monday Night Football when they announced John Lennon's death. And I remember that day. I remember hearing that news and, leave it to the Patriots to be on Monday Night Football. They were probably on it maybe 3 times, my entire childhood. And that was one of the times that they were on there. What's funny, Ricky, is that I was recently asked to audition. I got an audition for Howard Cosell. I don't know what they're doing. They're making a show about Monday Night Football. Yeah, seriously. And I'm like, first off, I was like, what am I got to get on Amazon and get a Howard Cosell wig? I don't even know how I do the voice. I'm like,
it's not a bad start, Mike. I'll be honest, you're in the ballpark right there.
To think that I've got.
Are you into this?
No, I'm not. I mean, listen, I'm just.
Damn it.
Look, I'm not Rich Little. I'm not like Frank Caliendo. and you know what I mean? I'm not even like, I'm like an Irish Catholic kid from New Hampshire. I'm like Howard Cosell. And that'd just be a bad imitate. Like if I was in the cast, if I was one of the 18 cast members.
I don't know about you, Shawn.
Yeah, no, it wasn't terrible. You're not making a good case for yourself right there.
I know. I'm wanting this more and more every time you open your mouth.
Okay, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go get that looks like Spock's hairdo from Star Trek. I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah, it does look like it comes off. Like it's a Lego man.
He looks like he's like related to the Slee Stacks there.
One of the things that this is the thing that really stood out to me is when you heard him say, this is only a football game. When he started making the little speech about John Lennon's death, and coming from Massachusetts, and I'm sure this is the case for many other places, but especially New York and especially Boston, to be reminded of that, this is just a football game in a place where we don't know how to forget that. Like it is war every single time out. And it's one of my favorite things about those places is that they take it way too seriously to the point where it's ridiculous and dumb because you know what? Life's really hard. Let's make something that really doesn't mean anything this serious is fun to me. You know what I mean? We might as well make this be the end of the world. So when he said that, let's remind ourselves this is just a football game before you announce the death, I was like, yeah, good luck. Good luck with Boston. This is the one with the Patriots. Like all of them are like, fuck that. We want to fucking kill the other team.
I don't even like the fucking Beatles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There were definitely some of those guys.
Terrible. It's like, who cares about him? Never liked him.
Yeah. Rolling Stones were better. All right. So one more here for you guys. And you guys obviously know a lot more about movies than I do. I just know that I enjoy them. But I tweeted out on Super 70s asking people for their favorite. I said, what's the best one-liner in movie history? And if you guys don't want to boil it down to one, because there's so many, but for either one of you, what are one or two maybe that come to mind that you consider to be top of the line among one-liners?
Okay, so this is I'm going way back, okay? And maybe it's because nowadays I would, if this movie was being made, I would play this guy. And it may also have something to do with the fact that, I'm now at the age where people are asking me to play Howard Cosell. But there is a line that I think is hilarious in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Do you know the movie, Ricky?
Oh, God, yes. I love it.
Okay. So it's an amazing movie, right? So there's like a fat Irish guy sitting on the porch reading the newspaper, and he's overhearing Jimmy Stewart and God, what is her name? Not Mary Bailey,
Donna Reed.
Donna Reed.
Yeah.
And Donna Reed is just stunning in this movie. Yeah, and he goes like this, and so the guy goes, "Why don't you kiss her for Christ's sake?" I don't think he says for Christ's sake.
Instead of talking her to death. Yeah.
And talking her to death. You know, and then he goes like this. This is my youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Yes.
I mean,
yes, that is so.
I think
he was giving her the whole lasso the moon speech. I think, yeah.
Youth is wasted on the wrong people is one of the great lines in movie history.
And the older you get, the more you realize how true that line is.
Right,
Shawn.
Right.
What's one for you?
Well, I'm going with what jumped into my brain quick. I don't think it's very poignant, but I love it, and it's very Boston centric, as me and Mike are both from that region. In the town, the "whose car are we taking" line. I don't know if you guys remember that line, but Ben Affleck gives this whole speech about how they're going to go somewhere, they're going to hurt some people. He can't ask any questions, blah 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 blah, and his friend replies, "Whose car are we taking?" And that's it. It's my favorite line in that movie.
Whose car are we taking? What's yours, Ricky?
Good stuff. Oh my God. I mean, Jesus. I'm probably, it's like I'm going back to Spies Like Us. Doctor, and doctor. I don't know, but that's not what I would pick. But I'm on the spot, and that's the first thing that came to mind. Here's what some of the Super 70s audience had to say here as we're going through. There's a Chevy Chase. Can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo from.
Oh yeah,
Fletch.
I love Dean
Wormer's
Wormer's
from Fletch.
Yeah, fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life is just a perfect one. And
Roy Scheider there, obviously, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Listening to the fucking song from Slapshot.
Shawn, you get another one?
Love the smell of napalm. Yeah.
Oh, love the smell of napalm in the morning is great.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
You know what's a good one is know there's so many good ones in Midnight Run. He goes, you haven't said. Wait, can we swear on this?
Yeah, we already have.
Fuck yes, you can.
Okay, when Charles Grodin goes, you haven't said two words to me the whole trip, and what does he say? No, what does he say? He's like Robert De Niro goes, shut the no. What? I'm blowing the line. Oh God. Anyways,
the apartment. I mean, these aren't.
Midnight Run has a million great lines.
Oh my God.
I got to go back. That's another one I need to go back and watch. You guys are filling up my queue of movies that I need to see again. Some good suggestions here today.
It's not as snazzy, but I always think about the movies that my favorite movies. And, The Apartment is one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. But that last line where he's making that speech to her is like, I think I might be in love with you. And she says, just deal. And deals the car. It's always those treacle cutter kind of things where someone's trying to say something sincere and the other person, like the first quote you brought up. Those are the best ones.
Well, you know what? That's funny. What Shawn just said, Ricky. In the lingo of Hollywood writing, but especially comedy writing, when there's some the treacle, it's called a treacle cutter, and it's really how do you undercut what is treacly piano from the old movies. Oh, we're trying to signal to everyone that this is an important moment. How do we undercut it with a line? A classic one would be from Jerry Maguire, where Tom Cruise is just going. He's just he's just spilling his heart. He's telling her it's this monologue that's almost Shakespearean in its complexity and it's his emotion, and she's just like, "You had me at hello." It's like great line, right? And one of the things that I love is that I went out to see both the premiere and I went to just this past weekend to see a screening of Eenie, Meanie in a crowd. And seeing those car chases on a big screen and being with people really reminded me that when you're watching a movie with other people, you're enjoying what they're enjoying. You may not be laughing at all the great lines because you're thinking about something else, or you're watching and then you laugh and then you think about it a different way. I miss being in a group of people watching these movies, and that's the spirit of what this movie was.
I mean, I had the same feeling about when you started Monday Night Football. I mean, there were only 10 things on. There's only 10 things on, and every week everyone would go to that place, and then we'd, communicate next day at work, and we felt like we're all a part of something. And now there's a bazillion choices on TV. We're not going to event TV anymore the way we used to. I'm not sure kids are talking the same way about the Monday Night Football game the way they were before. That I miss that.
I can't find half the games nowadays,
right?
Guys.
Oh my!
Where is it? Is it streaming? Is it on cable? Where is it? Is the first challenge?
You can't find them, and you can't. This is something the tech companies in Hollywood has to figure out. You can't even flip in between things anymore. So say like you're coming up to baseball, right? So it's coming up to this, period where you're going to be watching games. You want to flip in between stuff, but Shawn, one of the things Ricky and I were talking about that the last time I was on was just this shared monoculture. So he can say, Billy Squier, you can put that in a movie. He can be like, he can remember where he was when that song came out, right. Laugh about it, love it. I worry that that's gone now,
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Movies and events.
Yeah. I think it's hard. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, sorry. Yeah. I was just going to say, people say to me, well, 40 years from now, somebody's going to be doing super 2020s or whatever. And I'm thinking, no, not so fast. I don't think it's going to hit the same way because Mike, you're right. Everything is so fractured now and options and choices are great, but how many times have you had somebody come up to you and they're raving about some TV show or they're raving about some movie they've seen and you're not even aware that it exists?
You're not even aware it exists.
You haven't seen it.
Not only that, you can't you're like, oh my gosh, all right. Yeah, and you put it in the queue, but just, sometimes like my wife's like, do you want to watch that? I'm like, yeah, man. But please, you gotta, after that one, you can't say, let's watch another one. I gotta go to sleep. Or you want to look at an actor, that's in it and you got to pause the credits so you can just look at it. What's funny about Super 70s, and I've said this to you before, Ricky, is that, I have friends. So I graduated high school in 84, college in 88. And I have so many friends who are from back in New England or just from college who are sending me your tweets when you tweet something out about it. But that's what I mean, because everyone laughs about it. Everyone knows the episode of the Brady Bunch with the Tiki tour, with the Tiki idol. Everyone knows that when you're tweeting out the stuff recently about what's happening and Shirley just ripping into rerun. It's just like, how many episodes? You haven't seen just one episode. You've seen 50 episodes of what's happening.
Yeah, and people get it. You just immediately everybody's in on it. There's you don't need to explain it, which kills comedy completely if you have to try to explain it. So that's a blessing that I've had. Shawn, tell me, what's next here? The Eenie Meanie is obviously people are responding to it. What's next for Shawn Simmons here after this very successful, high profile directorial debut?
Well, hopefully we get to do more. I'm doing a little bit with A24. I'm doing a pilot with them, a TV thing. So I'm hoping to get that going. It'll have the same kind of blend of heart and heartbreak and comedy and a little bit of action that all my stuff seems to have. It's hopefully I'm doing another thing with 20th. It looks like I'm doing something else with them that I won't talk about yet, but hopefully just making more stuff that takes a big swing and tries to do something a little different, as I think this movie did.
Well, I've been educated here listening to Mike talk about Wayne. I'm going to definitely go back and investigate that based on how much I enjoyed Eenie Meanie. And Mike, before you go, I have to give you the greetings of my 15-year-old and 17-year-old daughters who, of course, as I told you last time, they're big Gleeks. So I can't let you being on the program pass without telling you that Katie and Sabrina send you their best regards.
Tell Katie and Sabrina I said hello. And, as my kids are getting older and we're going through the house cleaning phases, I'm going to find some Glee stuff. Don't tell them. I'm going to send them I'm going to surprise them with some Glee stuff.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. They would
Ricky,
flip out.
I can't thank you enough for having Shawn on, myself on. You know, I know there's a lot of people want to come on and talk to you about the different things that they do, but we're really proud of this movie. And we also think it's just it's a movie that just it's a fun movie. Like I said, it's about loyalty. It's about what to do when you're in a tough situation. It's about how to be a good friend and the consequences of doing those things. You can't really see their faces so good on the poster, but Steve Zahn, who everybody loves, and Andy Garcia, but Samara Weaving and Carl Glusman are the stars of this movie. And I actually think when we look back on their careers, this is going to be the start of massive movie careers for both of these people.
They're both incredible in it.
Well, it is a damn good time. Yeah, it's a damn good time, guys. Streaming on Hulu, Eenie Meanie. Watch it, by God. If you have Hulu, watch it. If you don't have Hulu, get a free trial and watch it. Is what I would say. Shawn and Mike.
On Disney Plus.
Yes, Disney Plus as well. So there you go. Hey, absolute pleasure, guys. I could go on forever with you, but I know you got things to do. But definitely, Mike, I want to have you back on. And Shawn, love to have you back on anytime, my brother.
I'll come on anytime. Do that boxing centric story. I'll come on.
Ricky,
right,
love your show.
All
love
right,
your
fellas.
show.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody's sick one day, you just call me up. I'm ready and willing. I'm able to come on. We'll talk about everything. We'll especially talk about Ohio State's coach, Ryan Day from New Hampshire, which we talked about before. Okay. Off camera. Okay.
By the way, where we filmed Eenie Meanie, Ohio, we filmed it in Cleveland.
Yeah, we filmed it in Cleveland. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
T-shirts.
Cleveland.
All right. We'll see you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, fellas.
Take care.
Pleasure. All
Thanks for
right,
having me.
Ronnie T-shirts. Mr. Ohio himself here on the program. Yeah, the film was shot in Cleveland. Ron?
I like it,
Got an
man.
Ohio State connection here. You got Hollywood celebrities complimenting your interior.
I mean,
decor.
I feel like Mike and I are best friends.
I think Mike should do the Howard Cosell thing.
Well, hey, listen.
Too late.
I'm going to be off a couple times. I'm going to be off a couple times the rest of the year, Ricky. Just saying, Mike, when I'm gone, Mike sits in this chair. I think it will be. I might be Wally Pippin myself.
One day.
Oh, I might be Wally
Pippin
Pippin myself.
You'd be honored to have a Mike O'Malley just.
Oh my gosh! But I'm just watching. I'm watching the chemistry between you guys, and I'm like, oh shit, he's like they've got it. Like they've got it. He and I are like we both graduated from high school in '84, so we are like the same. It's that same compliment age to you.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure to meet Shawn Simmons as well.
Absolutely,
really interesting guy, and obviously a very talented writer and director. On top of that, so I think we are going to take it to a break here, Ronnie T-shirts, and when we come back, we've still got a few more surprises. We haven't emptied the bag yet on this Monday because, among other things, I've still got to ask Ronnie the question that I love to ask him around this time of the day. And it'll all happen straight ahead, right here, right after this, on the Ricky Cobb Show.
This fall, you're not just watching the biggest game in college football.
You're at the game.
Bama versus Georgia.
September 27th, Athens.
Outkick's giving one lucky fan and a guest the VIP treatment.
Flights covered.
Hotel covered.
Game tickets, of course.
No purchase necessary.
Just hit outkick.com/sweepstakes.
College football weekend of a lifetime. Outkick.com/sweepstakes.
And welcome back to the program, my friends, as we come down the stretch drive on this Monday. And, poll replies. Before I ask Ronnie the question that I cringe some days before I ask him, let's see what folks are saying. Unfortunately, America's poll of the day today leaving a little something to be desired in terms of the competitiveness of it. Game-winning field goals, perhaps boosted by Matt Prater last night in Buffalo, is running away with it today. Maybe the comments will at least provide us with a little bit of entertainment. The Moops! Thank you for being a subscriber. It says, hard to top Prime Dave, Frontman 101. No lies detected. There. He was And he was maybe the best front man of the 80s, at least for a period of time, I would
He's
argue.
pretty.
Charlo says, this is a really tough one to me. I'd fuck him. This is a really tough one for me. All four were pretty badass in their own way at some point. That was a little inside joke, Ron. I wouldn't actually, but
I didn't think you would.
Might think
you're more of
about
a
it
Sebastian
if I had
Bach guy.
in me.
Yeah, you're more of a Sebastian
I
Bach
was
guy.
more of a, yeah. Didn't they have a song about Ricky? I think Skid Row. Charles Keel says all great options, but only one can bring you joy or sorrow depending on who your team is. And that is certainly true. And Mike Manzi says, can we have an honest discussion about how Dunkin' absolutely sucks now and gets by on name only? Donuts are junk and most delis and bagel shops have better coffee. Amazing in the 70s and 80s, but total corporate crap now. Look at Mike Manzi.
Mike has
showing
spoken.
up just to take a dump all over Dunkin'. Those are the words of Mike Manzi, not Ricky Cobb, but I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't really go there. All right, Ron, the poll of the day, not competitive. The comments are in. There's not a lot left for us to do. We're going to talk about our NFL picks as we wrap up, but before we get there, a very, very important moment. What the fuck, Ron?
All right, you got nothing to worry about today, nothing cringy. In fact, it's NFL themed. We are going to go to a couple tailgates in the Rust Belt, actually. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to go to Buffalo, who have probably the greatest fans in the NFL. They have had a tailgate, Ricky, and they have a very unique way of cooking their breakfast. They cooked their pancakes on a shovel and bacon on a saw.
Wow. Is there can you get tetanus from that?
It'd be worth it.
Can we get a good
look
at
worth
that?
it.
Well, maybe it would.
I mean, doesn't this just make you want to go to Buffalo?
Is there a reason? Oh, I mean, look, Buffalo Bills fans are the best. If they're not among the best, they are the best. Shout out to my friends, the Bills Trip Mafia, who I have done a number of cameos for through the years. But yeah, Buffalo Bills fans, they just do it a little bit different.
You started to ask the reason they were doing that. You know, the reason that they were doing that is because.
Okay,
the reason.
That clears it up.
Because. That's why.
The reason's just somebody, Herb had a saw.
He's like, oh my gosh.
Thought somebody said, well, wouldn't it be something if we just
cook bacon,
cook on that saw?
I bet
grab that out of the corner of your garage.
And they'll talk about it on the Ricky Cobb show. Maybe it would even be featured in WTF.
Crazy like foxes.
All right, let's go.
What the fuck else is going on?
Let's go a little bit west to Cleveland. Two super fans, First Lady and the Brown Spider, got married in the parking lot.
All right, hang on a second. First Lady and the Brown Spider. The Brown Spider sounds like somebody that got dispatched by Spider-Man. Okay.
And to show how like authentically
Where's the Brown Spider? Which one is he?
I don't know. He's up there somewhere, Ricky.
Is he the guy wearing the sunglasses on the banner?
Yeah.
On the right-hand side?
Yes, that's him. That's him.
Brown Spider.
So I could give you a million guesses on who officiated the ceremony, and you wouldn't get it. It was a former wide receiver.
Bob Golick.
Former wide receiver
Webster
for the Browns.
Slaughter.
Oh my God, you got it on the
Webster
first
Slaughter.
guess. Are you serious?
Did I?
Yes, Webster Slaughter.
Was it really Webster Slaughter?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. How about that?
Dude, it's almost like Who Am I?
There we go. We're done.
Dude,
look at that. I don't know where it comes from.
Holy shit.
Yeah. My second guess was going to be Reggie Rucker.
Where was Webster Slaughter sitting in your brain? Like that, it was, you said it like that.
No.
God.
I don't know where any of this comes from, bro. I just got lucky.
You know what? You truly are a national treasure, Ricky. You truly are.
Thank you, Ron. Congratulations to the Brown Spider and the First Lady. Ron, let's take a look at our, that's one of the nicest things you've ever said to me, Ron. Let's take a look at our Week 1 NFL picks. If you are not initiated, the stakes this year is we pick 4 games against the spread each week of the season. One of us is going to have to do the show at the end of the year wearing Angel Reese merch from her store. And Ron begins the season 2, was an up-and-coming, mastermind, and I may have to reevaluate that. Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders taking advantage of just the absolutely stalled out New York Giants offense. Russell Wilson's not a great debut for him. Jackson Dart, you got to get Jackson Dart in there, man.
Or do you bring in Jameis and let Jackson sit some more? Do you bring in Jameis and let Jackson sit a little bit more? No,
I think Jameis is number 3 on the depth chart. So it's Dart if they make a change, and Dayball's coaching for his job.
Oh,
so
gosh,
at some point, do you want to go down? Do you want to lose your job because you're playing what's left of Russell Wilson?
Yeah, no.
Or do you want to, let the next coach come along and be uplifted by Jackson Dart? I think you got to at least see what you have there.
Yep, that's a good point.
Broncos almost covered, Ron.
Dude, I know they won by 8.
They won by 8, and then we both missed on the Bengals, who were lucky to win it all.
Oh my God, you see Burrow only had 115 yards passing. That line cannot.
Jamar Chase held to.
Dude, but that line is going to get him
yards
killed.
Receiving.
His line is going to get him killed.
Yeah, that's
the season.
That's very concerning. We talked about them getting the receivers under contract, and then they got the situations, straightened out with the first round pick. They got Hendrickson under contract.
Yep.
Now maybe the narrative becomes, maybe the offensive line.
Maybe we need a line.
I skated by on a couple of these road favorite games, Ronnie. The Buccaneers beating the Falcons and the 49ers getting past Seattle on the road. I missed on my final pick, which was the one that I was least sure about. Although, in fairness, I missed the one that I was most sure about as well, which was the Bengals. The Patriots losing at home in the first game of the Pete Carroll era in Vegas and the Mike Vrabel era in Foxborough. So we're 2-2 out of the gate. It was like the first round of a championship fight, Ron. We just kind of felt it out. Yeah, we're at 500, and we'll see what happens in week 2. My thanks to you, as always, buddy. My thanks as well to Mike O'Malley and Shawn Simmons for joining me today. I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation that we had about Eenie, Meanie, which is on Hulu and Disney. My thanks to Molly and Colin in Nashville, as always, to P.A. Jared, and the best producer in the business. He is, of course, producer Tim. But most of all, I thank you, you sweet bastards, because you're the reason that we do this. You're the reason that this is so much fun, and I love you. You can find us, as always, at Fox Nation, outkick.com, and YouTube on the Ricky Cobb Show channel. Ricky Cobb Show. Get over there, subscribe, won't you? You can find us in podcast form on both Apple and Spotify, and our content is also available on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X, where you can always find me at Super 70 Sports. So come by, pay me a visit later today. I get lonely when you don't, but most importantly, let's make a deal that we'll meet right back here again tomorrow when we will tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.